as an architect is the thinking part of it, and then the implementation part of it. So thinking part of it. Very young lady who sits behind the counter, right? She works very hard, extremely monotonous work, and she always deals with customers. Most of them are not very nice always, right? So how do you take that monotone of her work and make it more interesting? Then there's the implementation part of it, where most of techies go wrong, including me. We try to see world from our own eyes. Actually, world has to be seen from the eyes of a person who's going to use that particular product, right? So try to make that particular product as simple as possible. Can you take off a lot of work which she's doing outside the umbrella of that particular counter? Using bots or using kiosks, or using natural language processing, or using deep machine learning that even before a customer approaches her, customer already knows what to do, and his or her work is done. The broader point which I want to make is sometimes it makes a lot of design sense to think about the lowest person in so-called value chain, and you look about and make that particular person extremely important, and then the beauty of design comes, and then really the magic of product comes. Few examples, okay. I'm an introvert in one way, okay. I don't want to interact with many people. When I walk into the airport, why I have to go to a counter to ask questions? Why can't I basically interact with a machine? Why can't a machine come to me and say, hey, seems like your bag is heavy, why don't you use this particular path? Trick is that simple problem should make someone's life easier. They are fundamental problem of the customer of an organization. So when you converge, a design and implement that particular design through a technology to give us very simple product. And that product can be a service, that product can be a robot, that product can be a machine, that product can be an invisible ecosystem or an architecture. They can actually make our lives far more beautiful, far more enriching, so that we can utilize our life, we can utilize our breath in a much more meaningful way. Then the magic happens. And that's precisely what we are looking at this hackathon. Let's create this magic. Converge design with technology. The real beauty of design happens when you actually think about the person who's going to use it. What I have looked from design perspective as a developer, as an architect, is the thinking part of it, and then the implementation part of it. So thinking part of it, you get into the shoes of a person with whom you want to interact, with whom you expect to use your product, and be very empathetic and compassionate to what that person does, what are his or her problems, and how he deals with his day-to-day part of the life. When it comes to airline, one of the things which I'm very empathetic about is this very young lady who sits behind the counter, right? She works very hard, extremely monotonous work, and she always deals with customers. Most of them are not very nice always, right? So how do you take that monotone of her work and make it more interesting? Then there's the implementation part of it, where most of techies go wrong, including me. We try to see world from our own eyes. Actually, world has to be seen from the eyes of the person who's going to use that particular product, right? So try to make that particular product as simple as possible. Can you take off a lot of work which she's doing outside the umbrella of that particular counter, using bots or using kiosks or using natural language processing or using deep machine learning, that even before a customer approaches her, customer knows what to do, and his or her work is done. The broader point which I want to make is sometimes it makes a lot of design sense to think about the lowest person in so-called value chain, and you look about and make that particular person extremely important, and then the beauty of design comes, and then really the magic of product happens. Few examples. Okay, I'm an introvert in one way. I don't want to interact with many people. When I walk into the airport, why I have to go to a counter to ask questions? Why can't I basically interact with a machine? Why can't a machine come to me and say, hey, seems like your bag is heavy, why don't you use this particular path? Trick is that simple problem should make someone's life easier. They are fundamental problem of the customer of an organization. So when you converge, a design and implement that particular design through a technology to give us very simple product. And that product can be a service, that product can be a robot, that product can be a machine, that product can be an invisible ecosystem or an architecture. They can actually make our lives far more beautiful, far more enriching, so that we can utilize our life, we can utilize our breath in a much more meaningful way. Then the magic happens. And that's precisely what we are looking at this hackathon. Let's create this magic. Converge design with technology.
it's like marriage.
T-shirts.
देखा देखा देखा
The real beauty of design happens when you actually think about the person who's going to use it. What I have, looked from a design perspective as a developer, as an architect, is the thinking part of it, and then the implementation part of it. So thinking part of it, you get into the shoes of a person with whom you want to interact, with whom you expect to use your product, and be very empathetic and compassionate to what that person does, what are his or her problems, and how he deals with his day-to-day part of the life. When it comes to airline, one of the things which I'm very empathetic about is this very young lady who sits behind a counter, right? She works very extremely monotonous work, and she always deals with customers. Most of them are not very nice always, right? So how do you take that monotone of your work and make it more interesting? Then there's the implementation part of it, where most of techies go wrong, including me. We try to see world from our own eyes. Actually, world has to be seen from the eyes of the person who's going to use that particular product, right? So try to make that particular product as simple as possible. Can you take off a lot of work which she's doing outside the umbrella of that particular counter, using bots, using kiosks, or using natural language processing, or using deep machine learning that even before a customer approaches her, customer already knows what to do, and his or her work is done. The broader point which I want to make is sometimes it makes design sense. Think about the lowest person in so-called value chain, and you look about and make that particular person extremely important, and then the beauty of design comes, and then really the magic of product happens. Few examples, okay? I'm an introvert in one way, okay? I don't want to interact with many people. When I walk into the airport, why I have to go to a counter to ask questions? Why can't I basically interact with a machine? Why can't a machine come to me and say, hey, it seems like your bag is heavy, why don't you use this particular path? Trick is that simple problem should make someone's life easier. They are a fundamental problem of the customer of an organization. So when you converge, design and implement that particular design through a technology to give us very simple product, and that product can be a service, that product can be a robot, that product can be a machine, that product can be an invisible ecosystem or an architecture. They can actually make our lives far more beautiful, far more enriching, so that we can utilize our life, we can utilize our breath in a much more meaningful way. Then the magic happens, and that's precisely what we are looking at this hackathon. Let's create this magic. Converge design with technology. Aviation is a beautiful industry. The reason why it is a beautiful industry is because it consists of fundamentally two pillars. Beautiful machine and people who work within beautiful machine. Pilots and cabin, beautiful which surrounds this particular beautiful machine to work with the new aviation is moving as fast as it can. Fortunately, maybe unfortunately, airlines, aircraft in India is considered an object of luxury, an object of aspiration. It is not like that in the countries. Business is not something make this particular object much more sexier. In fact, we should make it fun, accessible to a person, to a smaller town, to a smaller village, with a decent living. Should not think twice before it's a gathering. It should not be an aspiration from that particular person to come and think that he can afford riding on the theater. I know the cost of technology should become dramatically down. Why would an airline hire a person like me? I'm a technologist. Why would they hire a person like me? Maybe I can think differently. I have an advantage over spend years and years in airlines. I come as an outsider. Maybe some broken business, maybe design something which is different, maybe take risks, maybe if you are an outsider, then I strongly urge you to come and participate in this young, give a little bit of company in this area. I am myself an outsider in airline. I have been a student of airline for the last 2 years. And in these 2 years, I have seen a lot of cases where you can actually help airlines. You can help airlines in different ways. You can help airlines by creating architectures, joint architectures. You can help airlines create architecture and technology stack which will bring down the cost of operations of the airline. I'm extremely focused on good that. I'm very hopeful because this young outsiders who are going to come participate and bring those ideas which are aviation, and especially in airline, they never think about it. So be brave and be fearless. From the entrepreneurs who are going to participate, I would say, don't only look at a typical business case which ultimately results in profitability. Look at the person who is actually on the ground and solve his or her problem. And if they're able to solve his or her problem, their product will sell. And that is what I'm looking for. There is other thing which I expect from this hackathon. Not very startups in field of aviation. There are very few startups who people will realize I want this hackathon when we should
Is that color coding? Behind the fight. My gratitude
We'll be starting in a minute, so kindly settle down. Thank you.
सुन आशुतोष का है
Pavan. And I am Suhagi. We welcome you all here in India's largest aviation hackathon, an initiative by Vistara, powered by Incubate IND. Vistara Hackathon aspires to build solutions for aviation-related challenges to revolutionize and transform the aviation sector in India. This hackathon will involve 20 teams from each city that will compete with each other to create new applications and tools to address challenges in areas such as tracking traveler behavior, personalization of air travel, intelligent crowd monitoring at airports, system integration with third-party APIs and software, in-flight entertainment and intelligent customer targeting, among other challenging aspects. The solutions submitted will be reviewed by a panel of technology and aviation experts who will handpick winners based on originality, the potential for scalability and successful execution.
This initiative is powered by Incubate IND, where IND stands for India, an international network for developers. It provides a fertile ground for networking and teamwork to students and professionals and helps to discover, create, work together, achieve collective goals, and pursue shared ambitions. Essentially, the company works with students and entrepreneurs community to create workable solutions for a better India. It works on solving the world's greatest problems through a technology-driven community of students, entrepreneurs, and government. Now, I would like to welcome our honorable guest, Mr. Som Mittal, former president and chairperson, NASSCOM. Sir, you held the position for president for NASSCOM from 2008 to 2013 and steered the industry through one of its most challenging phases. You played a key role in shaping the industry and NASSCOM through multiple initiatives. I request you to please grace the occasion with your presence and share a few words with all of us.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome all of you. Such a great day. Having fun already? Yeah. It's really exciting when Vistara started this or talked about having this hackathon. We said Vistara and hackathon, how would people relate? There's so much happening otherwise, and I thought this would be a great idea, but we were really overwhelmed with the response we got. Not only from people like you who are in this room, but also from our partners, and thank you very much for your support. We have, as you saw, AWS, which is Amazon, we have Adobe, we have K-Star, 10,000 Starter, of course, we are at NASSCOM here, and Design India and MBDS. So I think everybody came together to help do this, and I think we're really blessed that this could happen. I just want to first ask before I go, how many of you here, just show of hands, from outside Delhi? Wow. Thank you. Who thinks he has come furthest most from Delhi? Yeah, okay, this is a quiz, man. Your hackathon has already started. So who thinks who is furthest most? I believe somebody came from Amritsar. You are from? Ahmedabad? Anybody beating Ahmedabad? Oh, there you go. Interestingly, simultaneously at the same very moment, we have similar young people in Bangalore, and I believe what's happening here is being beamed live there. So all of you back there in Bangalore, all the best. I hope you have fun there as well. Couple of questions here to you. How many of you are under 20? Yeah, give them a big hand. Good. Under 15? No, but this is amazing. It's really a great day, and thank you very much. This is going to be a lot of fun in these 2 days. In a lot of ways, when we look at Vistara, Vistara itself is a startup. Like a company which is 2 years old can only talk about itself as a startup. So when you people talk about innovation in startups, Vistara, airline business is old, so what's great and what's new? I think we have to innovate to be differentiated. And I think that's the fun, right? So it doesn't matter, you don't have to get the next brilliant Nobel Prize winning idea. Anything that can differentiate is the one that actually creates. So I think for us at Vistara, as a startup, we are very much part of you, right? I was laughing with the Air Marshal here that between the two of us, we are probably raising the average age of this room, right? But Vistara is a young organization. We are representing a very young organization. And we're quite excited with the 5 teams that have been picked up. So I'm sure you're going to use all your imagination that is. How many of you are already in a startup? Okay, very good. So you've already tasted blood, so to say, right? But you are in the mecca of IT, you are in the mecca of what leads it. I remember 4 years back when we started the 10,000 initiative 2013, the Google chairman was here, and I used to wear a tie every day, right? And I was told that, look, if you're going to come for the startup business, you can't wear a tie. So I bought my first pair of jeans. Right, I should have worn them today. Right, it would have been fun, but it was really nice. The reason I mentioned that is just in the last 4 years, from 2013 to 2017, so much has developed. This is the right time for you people to do what you're doing. Many of you raised your hands that you were still in college, right? I can tell you, when we were passing out way back, right, there was only one thing: naukri karni hai. That was the only option. Right? There was no question of starting business on your own. Either you joined a family business or you got into a job. At that point of time, you could fail. If you heard this stigma saying, "Uski company band ho gayi," was a very negative word. Right? Right now you say, "I'm going to experiment." I don't know how many young people I come across would say, "You know what? This is my 3rd startup, first 2 failed." Or they will say, "Hey, I tried my hand at startup, it didn't work. I'm going to be looking for a job." It's fine. At least today you can try and experiment with life, take your ambitions and dreams further, and I think that's what life is all about, and I think it can happen today. The other is, why is it a good time today to do all this? First, I think we've never seen government support like the way it's coming in, right? So suddenly the government is waking up saying we should do something about startups. Because if you look at America and everywhere else, I think the entrepreneurs are the ones who are creating jobs. It's not the large companies. The large companies would do automation, etc. So they don't create new value adds. So I think that's the reason that government is supportive. We have umpteen funding models. Money is not growing on trees, but there are monies available. So if you have a great idea, if you have a great passion, there is surely money that's available. People and mentors are available, right? As you walk around, you would see these small little places where there are seats and the carpets there. What do you think is this? This is actually what we call a startup warehouse. So if you had an idea and you thought you want to start tomorrow morning, you write to NASSCOM, and NASSCOM is not the only one. NASSCOM has today 8 startup warehouses. You can actually compete, register yourself. Tomorrow morning, you'll have 4 seats, connectivity, coffee to have, and you're in business. Right? So I think a lot of such facilities have come up which are encouraging young people to do it. Plus, a lot of people are today offering their time and effort in mentoring and support, right? Which is what happens when you're young, that you have a dream, but you don't have the experience. But if you're going to wait for all the experience to come in, it's never going to happen. So I think the experience is going to be available to you from these mentors. So great stuff. I'm sure there will be a lot of people telling you what to do, what not to do, right? I'm not going to get into that, but I would only say that in my own life and career, one thing that's always stood out is passion, right? So I think continue to have your passion, ensure that the people you hire or the people you work with are passionate about what they do. Everybody very young keeps talking about valuations and what's the value of my company. I think that will follow. It's only about saying I've got a great position in the sense that I would say that people talk about business plan. The only business plan that I know is the one that is solving a problem, right? So I think, and India has so many problems. We are here in a very fertile ground. So I think the 5 themes that you have given are actually real problems for us, right? So I think if you can solve a problem in India, and what can work in India will work the rest of the world. So we don't have to ape the US or anything, because those solutions may not work here, but what works here will work there, right? And that's so actually, I had some other engagement, and yesterday when Ravi was with me and he said, look, come over. I said, no, I think I'm not going to miss this, because you help us and excite us with your presence here and your passion. So do well, enjoy the 2 days. It doesn't matter who wins, who doesn't. Of course it matters, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are here today. And I don't know how they had 4,000 applications, right? And from that, you are already a select crowd. So keep participating in these forums, and I'm sure as Vistara we'll keep encouraging this. So all the very best, do well and enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much, sir. Those are some really inspiring words. Okay, may I take this opportunity to tell you all that this hackathon is going on simultaneously in beautiful city of Bangalore, making sure that this hack is bigger than ever. As you can see on the screen, it is being streamed live over there. So this has to be the biggest event of the year.
Guys, give a big hand.
I would now like to thank our sponsors and technology partners, Amazon and AWS Activate, our digital sponsor Adobe, Amadeus, designed for India and initiated by NESCOM, and K-Start, our venue in Bangalore. A very special thank you to NASCOM 10,000 Startup for making this event possible.
Moving ahead, I would like to take a minute to introduce you to a great leader who is not only a patriotic person by heart, but a patriot by his actions. A proud and versatile experience of almost 40 years in Indian Air Force, sir, you have been awarded with Vashisht Seva Medal for Distinguished Services of Highest Order and Ati Vashisht Seva Medal for Distinguished Services of an Exceptional Order. I would like to call Mr. Air Marshal L.K. Malhotra on the stage.
Say a few words also. I think now that's the biggest winning of the session. If I have to say a few words, especially after a great oration from the previous speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you so much for introducing me, ma'am. Flying has been a passion. The subject is very passionate as far as I'm also concerned. And like it was just said, I spent 40 years in the Indian Air Force, and I've been doing the fighter flying all along. And I got close to about 4,000 hours on fighter flying. And so the subject, although not directly related, is extremely close to my heart. That is one. Number two, I presume by the word hackathon, we are saying that we're going to hack our brains. So we're going to hack our brains or hack each other's brains and to come out with some viable solutions, like I think Mr. Som had just mentioned. My take on this particular event or events of this nature, I think it is not to beat the competition. It is actually to find solutions which will take us forward and making our life a little more easier as compared to what it is today. I saw that small documentary when I came in over here and when I was sitting down. Your CIO was very correctly saying, why do I need to go to a counter if I go to the airport building? So why can't it be done automatically? So why can't I be, somebody from the internet, some genie who comes out of the bottle and he tells me what is to be done and when is it to be done and how is it to be done to keep the efficiency levels high and to keep the wastage of man hours at the lowest. So that would be probably my take on the hackathon and to find the new solutions. Like I was saying, I don't think so that in a subject of this nature we require any market research. Had Edison done any market research, we would have been still with a candle perhaps. And had, I forget who's the guy who discovered a motor car, I think it was Henry Ford. Yeah, and if he had done a market research, I think probably he would have gone for the fastest four-legged horse. So it was in the lighter sense that we don't really have to do a market research, we just need to scratch your brains to get the right solutions. I do not know if all of you are aware of it because I'm really humbled by the age group and we have just raised the bar between the two of us. But I'm sure a lot of you must have heard about Internet of Things. In fact, I think that is the way forward. If you ask me, I think Internet of Things is what is going to give you the right solutions. It is not just that the Vistara has to have the Internet of Things guiding you what is to be done. You require the smart airports, the smart functioning of the other systems, which will lead the way forward. But I will leave that all for you to take out with the solutions. I think I'm very humbled and a proud person to be here today amongst you all. And I wish all of you the very best and not a very good way to start the early morning 9:30, 10 o'clock with a long lecture. So I leave it at that. Hack your brains, go and do it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now may I call upon the stage Dr. Sunit Shekhawat, Senior Director, NESCOM.
Hi everyone. So first of all, there is a correction. I'm not the Senior Director. So Srinivas is the Senior Director. He was supposed to come, but because of some medical emergency at home, he's not able to attend. So I lead 10,000 Startup Initiative for North. Sir, I've heard a lot about you, and it's really a pleasure to have you here, meet you for the first time, and would like to correct you one place. We are now having 10 startup warehouses. Yeah. Okay, so I'll not take much of your time. First thing, we being the enabler of the ecosystem, we are truly the enablers. I know Hackathon is just the beginning. It just shows the psyche, what kind of philosophy you are following. Once the hackathon is done, I'm sure a good number of you will be interested in going for the startups. Being the enabler, we'll be happy to help you. You can definitely come back to us, and we will be more than happy to assist you in any way and every way possible. Secondly, the problems I've just gone through the problem statements of Vistara. I'm sure a good number of startups from NCR are working on it. Post this session, I'll be definitely happy to connect with the Vistara team also on that. But definitely the solution which comes from the young chap, the young minds, are always more acceptable at the corporate level. Thank you. That's enough from my side. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir. I would like to remind you again that the same exact event is happening in the beautiful city of Bangalore, and those kids and everyone is on board with us, live on this journey.
I would now welcome Ms. Karima Babur from Adobe, who's the head skill development manager over there. She's had 20 years of experience in Adobe. She works in mainly government projects for MSD and UGC and AICD. Ma'am, it would be great if you could share a few words with us.
So very good morning to all of you. Hi Bangalore, I hope you're all doing well. So I think after hearing such great words from Som sir and Air Marshal sir, I think whatever I want to share is something that probably the advice that I would give to my son who's 17 years old, and something that I want you all to believe in. This is a great initiative. Thank you Vistara for putting it all together. And I'm really happy to be here, though it's a weekend and I had some personal commitments. But when I looked at the website, I saw the nominations, I saw the students coming forward, and it's basically youth, and of course the NASCOM initiative. I couldn't stop myself from being here. So thank you for making me a part of it. Well, I think a lot has already been said, so lesser the better. But yes, please believe in yourself. There are some fantastic topics that have been given to you, and being an avid traveler, I face it every day. So what I'm looking forward to seeing what you will present is something that I can relate, and that will be applicable to the aviation industry. Just be yourself. Don't worry about who's coming first, who's coming second. The very fact that you're all here, that you're all winners. Even if you fail, doesn't matter. At least you gave it your best shot, and that's what matters in life. I have failed miserably multiple times in multiple projects, but I've always taken that as a learning for myself. So with that spirit, please do your best, and if you want any guidance, I think we will all be around. Please come forward, ask questions if you want to, if that's permitted as a part of their hackathon. And feel free to interact, Number of years or qualifications do not make a difference. It is your skills. I'm a strong practitioner of skill development. I've worked on multiple government projects, and this is one thing which I always advise to my students. Believe in yourself. You all have potential. You may have different degrees, different percentage of marks, different grades, but the very fact that you're all here, you're presenting, that's fantastic. That's awesome. So guys, go all out and do well. Okay? See you around. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think all of us would keep that in mind, and that was really inspiring. Thank you. Now we have a very special guest. We have Ms. Leela, who is the Head of Digital Solutions Management, Thailand, Indonesia, South Asia at Amadeus. Ma'am, could you please come on the stage and share a few words with all of us?
Hi, so I'm Leela, and thank you very much. And thank you, Vistara, and thank you, Ravi, for arranging all of this wonderful, great experiment that everybody here would be exploring. And I just want to say something very, very short, is that now airlines are going through the era of digital transformation. There are many things that used to be done offline, it used to be done in a very complex way, but now digital has come into a way that brings things together, change things to be a very smooth way, bring robots into the inspiration, even in the travel agency, even in different journey that travelers have to interact with the airlines or with the travel industry. Digital comes in to fill in the gaps of many different areas. So what we're looking for today is inspiration. I guess we want you to inspire us more. Show us your ideas. Every idea is a good idea. There's nothing to be scared of, so give it a try. Whatever you think about, give it a try and show us what you have. So we are here from Amadeus, and we are here to support you also. And thank you, Vistara, again for this.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Today is the Voyage of Hack, that is about to venture in the world of talented team of developers, designers, and data scientists to give us a comfortable and seamless flying experience. Now, I would like to invite Chief Innovation Officer of Vistara, Mr. Ravindra Pal Singh, the captain of the flight today, to discuss innovation.
Wow, just look at this room, right? It's filled up. So many people. You know, look, my mother will be very happy today because this is the closest I can come to a marriage management. You know, this is heck of an event, 8 lakh inquiries, 4,000 plus, filtered criteria, and you guys are the best out of 8 lakh scores, right? Pretty cool, very happy. Gentlemen over here, wise people, everyone else extremely talented, right? People like me somewhere in between, IQ going down, hard work and little bit of corporate politics makes me survive, okay? Solutions are not going to come from me, solutions are going to come from you, okay? People hiding over there, they had actually made this happen, so I'm extremely, in gratitude for all of you guys. You guys are real heroes over here. Make it happen, be fearless, fabricate things, write code, analyze data, come up with something which is remarkable, okay? Come up with something which is really remarkable. And if one startup gets funded or something like that, Som can close his ears, give me a little bit of equity out of it, retirement, right? So chill everyone, enjoy your stay. We have done a lot of hard work over here. We may have done some mistakes, so on that behalf, I'm just accepting that, but just try to have fun, write code, fabricate things. Love you guys, enjoy, have fun. Thank you. Start all yours. All yours.
Okay, so everybody, we'll now be moving on to the problem statement. Keeping Ravi sirs and everybody who's present aware, all of their vision in mind, I would like to invite Mr. Sachin to give us the problem statement for today. Yeah, Mr. Sachin.
Hello, is it audible? Yeah. Great day with a great vision. Vistara is doing one of the biggest hackathon for airline within India, and we tried our best to get the 360-degree view across all the domain in churning out the problem statements. So what we have even thought in our mind as problems which has to be really applicable to the industry. Each problem can be converted to the project, even a startup. Yeah. Also, I expect we are not here to give you ideas, but to really tell you what problems we are facing, and we are expecting you guys to really work hard and give your core concepts or core ideas which can radically change how we think, how we can solve the problem. Should we start? So we are churning out all problems in 5 different areas. Yeah. We are having few problems of big data, Some of the problems are actually airline domain, some for tech, which has to be pure tech, some is for gamification, and some problems we are trying to understand how we can use it for social aspects of airlines. So this will start with the big data. So we wanted to have identify upcoming stations. I'm going to brief with that. How we can make the route maps. In airlines, we are struggling with a lot of issues like how we can create a hassle-free business travel, how we can have in-flight entertainment apps, how we can unleash the airport experience where people are very excited. In-flight service management. In technology, we thought a lot and we realized that there are two things that are going very well. Some of the things, some of the new innovations are coming high-tech in graph databases, and some of the things are happening on a very SOC system of chips. So how we can deal with that? Gamification, we have few things and we are having something for the society. Let's see how we can work together to build a system as an initiative system so that we can work on safety of the people. We wanted to unleash the airport experience. In short, the airport experience for passengers is very varied. It's for frequent travel it's fine, but the people who travel not regularly or maybe first time, they really wanted to experience it in the best possible way. Passengers will experience with a lot of activities in the airport, from airport entry to counter, security queues, shops, restaurants, lounges. So what we wanted to improve the passenger airport experience and make it seamless. So it can be come in some kind of device, it can be come in some form of app, or it can be in some form of at least maybe Facebook app. Anything is possible. So let's work on how we can unleash the airport experience for all the passengers. Second, there are always two set of passengers we always have. One is like a people who travel for tourism or general travel, but some business travelers who travel very regularly. Their concerns are different from normal travelers. We wanted hassle-free travel, good service, zero error, real-time information are the primary concerns. So what we are focusing more on is how we can improve the experience of the business travelers across the airline. So this is something different. This is we have to deal with the different kind of parameters to make sure the business travel should become easier. If you have any questions, you can just raise hand and we can go on. Yeah. A lot of things are happening across globe in terms of in-flight entertainment apps. A lot of things are happening in technology. We are having a lot of 3D augmented reality. We are coming with 3D printings. We are coming with we can say virtual reality environments. A lot of new ways are moving on for entertainment. Now it's all about that, how we can use technology in the best possible way to create in-flight entertainment. Most of the time, most of the airlines generally provide some kind of video storage in flight, and just they provide some videos to watch, and that becomes their in-flight entertainment systems. But we wanted to give a challenge to how we can. Oh my God, this is a mistake. So challenge is all about that, how we can use all these new capabilities to frame out some concept or some idea how we can improve the in-flight entertainment across all passengers. It can be different. It can be creating game across passengers. It can be moving some kind of magical, we can say, bidding within the passengers. It can be some information sharing within passengers. So I really expect you guys throw your thoughts how we can create some systems, some device, some app, something within aircraft which will allow us to improve the in-flight entertainment systems across India. One more problem airline always struggles is all about in-flight service management. If you see, most of the things are happening manually. Like all the airline services within aircraft terms in-flight, what we do generally catering, in-flight checks, servicing the people on board. Most of the things are checks and balances of everything are kept manually. on manually paper, etc. We keep logs, pilot maintains logs. So as of Vistara, as a full service airlines, what happens is we are, as of now, we are one of the best in providing the in-flight services. But as we move on, as we progress, we have to use a lot of technology, a lot of systems in place which will allow us to improve the in-flight service management. So what we wanted to digitize complete in-flight service management either with app or some specific device. The app will be used by the crew members within flight. It can be also it can be also something which we can think interacted by the passengers. We are having boarding passes, how we can use that boarding pass information automatically. Also, we do have catering services. There are always some barcodes for that. How we can use that information. We also have magazines. We can have newspapers. How we can do. How we can conclusively think about the systems which will help us to improve in-flight service management. So we have finished some airline categories. Now I wanted to go with more social aspects. How we can safeguard our airline staff. If you look, airline staff is massive. It's spread across the country. A lot of people traveling, people move across cities. Staff works 24/7. So what we want to deploy system and solutions which can provide safety to all our staffs on the go, irrespective of their duty hours and irrespective of the geographies. So let's guys give some thought on the problem. This is a real problem, how we can safeguard all the people, all the staff which are working within airline in a centralized manner so that we will be in complete control. We are in 14 actually, we are in 13. So you guys have a lot of time to discuss what you can select and let's see what best will come in your mind. So it is more about giving whole lot of queries. And let's target, all are important. Let's target what you can do the best or what you can envision the best, what idea you can envision the best which will help you for us to target a problem. One of the things we also thought that as an airline staff, we have massive staff across whole India. If I take around the whole airline industry across India, there is more than 1 million staff working in airline industry. Our cities are struggling for the safety of people. So I am going to correlate with existing one. So why not we can think that all this staff can provide a voluntary service for safeguarding a city. This is very interesting. Now if we are able to solve this kind of problems, then it is not only about solving, this will have a major impact for our generations. So what we want to develop an emergency and safety response system for each city, which will be operated by a consortium of all the airlines. Good? All good till now? Is it getting bored? No? Are you able to get it? What is exactly explained?
They are smarter than you.
So we have finished the part of the airline, we have finished the part of society. Now I'm going to come with some tech part. The cost of SoC is going very down, 61 chips. The Raspberry Pi is coming in the range of maybe 3,000 bucks. It's going to give us a good amount of RAM. Orange Pi, they started I think 2 years back, is coming around 1,000 rupees. Now, if I wanted to make the machine which is having 1 terabyte of RAM, if I take all the costs, it's very cheap. It's maybe less than 1 crore. So what we thought, and if I see the airline always has a massive data to crunch. Nature of the data and problems are amazingly parallel. So in the sense that we analyze the problems of routes, customers, captains, aircraft, and those are performing parallel. So having this kind of multi-cluster, multi-node environment is very important. And if we can create an environment, if we can create those machines in using these commodity softwares, it's well and good. So what we're trying to give as a problem, we wanted to design a supercomputer based on nodes of Pi, either Orange Pi or Raspberry Pi, and let's use that to solve this problem. So what we are expecting, we are expecting the high-level design of that supercomputer, if it is possible. the people who have worked on Raspberry Pi and Orange Pi anyone, they guys know it, how we can connect it. And there are a lot of research also going on. So if you're able to build at least a concept for hardware design, it's sufficient for us. We are living in an era of, we have lived in era of relational model. So I'm coming to the comp science. All RDBMS with us. A lot of data structures are based on RDBMS. Even a lot of legacy systems within airline actually work on RDBMS. From last 10 years, we have started unstructured data analysis. We've moved a lot. We started with key value pairs with a Hadoop and HBase. We have moved all the columnar databases, but now, if I look at airline, it's purely graph. It's purely graph. We are having airline industry change over time, but industry is following conventional model. Considering nature of this industry, we can envision the whole airline data model in form of graph. Again, this technology problem. I really want you guys to envision and build the data model. So we wanted to build a data model for airline for graph DB across complete airline information and visualization over that. So if we able to envision or if we able to build a data model which is quite similar to ER but in form of graph, that's best. Because the nature of the industry's data management is in form of graph. Is it okay? These two problems are, you guys understood these problems? Last two? Yes, no? Yes? Good. Who are the guys who work on graph DB? No? Anybody work on Titan DB? Neo4j? Okay. Who guys have actually know about Raspberry Pi, Orange Pi? Good. Nice. Now we are coming to the data. Now we are coming to big data analytics. More about that. So we are trying to have a problem statements on top of social media, which is available without any concerns. This is not a proprietary data. We have a lot of public information available in social media. So Vistara is adding stations in each quarter. Speed of aircraft acquisition is accelerating. With a lot of stations may come in next 5 years. So in industry, large team plays to identify these routes. Yeah. So with advancement of big data and social media, amazing long-term trending is possible. We know we can trend it a lot. We can trend based on the communication of people, what they're talking, on which topics. We can predict what cities may be prominent in future, next year, next 5 years, that way. So we wanted to build a mechanism to identify air traffic pattern across regions based on monthly and yearly, based on the social media, and we wanted to have some kind of state-of-art visualization how we should envision the route maps. Route map generally showing just kind of Google extra, but I really expect you guys give some thought about how we can envision the route maps of aircraft. Well and good. The last two left. This is very interesting with a lot of people. Who are the people who actually do the game development? Anybody? Wow. That's nice. What technology stacks you have used? Unity? Good. You know what? So the problem is all about having game on dynamic ticket pricing movements. If you look at airline ticket pricing, is highly unpredictable. You want to travel somewhere, so you see the price today, it will change it tomorrow. It may rise at certain level, it may come back with certain amount, and then you may see hike suddenly is happening. So the good thing about that, as a technology perspective or tech guy, is I'm having the environment of dynamism ready. So air ticket prices changes over time. Passengers just analyze price, book the tickets, and price movements are highly unpredictable. Fundamentally, air ticket is a perishable service. So logically, airlines has to sell the tickets. The pricing movements changes because to manage the profitability and the load factors. We have to change. We have to sell the tickets, but we cannot sell it at a low price. We have to manage it or profitability by changing the price pattern. So for gamers, such uncertainty can lead to the very creative gaming. problem. So when we understand where we have to open the next station. So airline dynamic industry, station opening, we rationalize this opening, we open the station, then sometimes we rationalize the station, we reduce the load of the station, we try to have more flights to the station, we try to move the flight timings across station based on profitability, based on slots, etc. So using social media trend analysis and general statistical data available and competition information openly across media, is it possible for us to predict what is the best station I should open next? Now this is very specific problem. This is the problem of just statistical and maybe machine learning. Like somebody said, yeah, I work on machine learning. This is a problem for you guys. Let's understand what all parameters we can use from social media, from statistically available government data, which will be sufficient for me to open the new station. New city, where we fly next. New station route map. Oh, station is not a common word. In airline, we use a station that this is where we'll fly next. That's it, guys. So let's start great hope for future. So innovation distinguishes between leaders and followers. So let it be leader, make it a better world with all innovative thoughts and ideas. So this is our hackathon. Let's do the best. Thank you. Any query about any problem, we are always there around. So we can detail it, we can provide some pointers, we can provide some information, background data about. But I really expect the idea has to come from this side. Good?
Okay, attention everybody. We've just been joined by Mr. Saket Modi, co-founder and CEO of Lucidus Tech, a cybersecurity company. Sir is definitely the Indian ambassador of cybersecurity. Sir, it would be great if you could address the participants. We would love that.
Hi guys, my name is Saket Modi. I am the co-founder and chief executive of a young startup called Lucidus Technologies. I'm going to take 15 minutes of yours where I'll give you some background about my perspective of hackathons and what I feel you're doing out here. But before I go there, let me give you a brief about my company and what we do, because you get an idea around what competence do I bring in, based on which I'll be talking to you. So we're a young company. When you develop applications, there needs to be a maker and there needs to be a checker. I don't know if you've been following in the last, I'm talking about the last 2 weeks, not even a very large time. Just in the last 2 weeks, America has witnessed the largest ever hack, which has literally caused a massive sensation across the country. And just day before yesterday, the CEO of the company which got hacked, the company was called Equifax. That's right. So the company is called Equifax. How many of you know about the Equifax hack? Can I see hands? Okay, there are quite a few people, and I'm very happy that being in India, you know about it. Just to give you some background, Equifax is a very large company in the US. The way you have civil score in India, that each one of you, when you have a bank account, you have a civil score on what is the acceptability of how much credit can you be given as loans, as credit card, etc. Exactly in the same way, you had a company called Equifax, the largest personal credit scoring company in the US. The turnover of that company was $3.5 billion. This was last year. The market cap, exactly 2 weeks back, of this company, the market cap is number of shares multiplied with the value of the, and it's a listed company, so the value of the shares. The market cap of this company was $20 billion. Today, the market cap of the company is $12 billion. In 2 weeks, you have a drop from 20 billion to 12 billion. That's $8 billion. Just to set the context, $8 billion is the total turnover that that an HCL does in an entire year. And that dropped in 2 weeks. Why? Because the application that they were using, to be more specific, the server that they were using, that was a Apache Tomcat Struts, which was the extension out there. It had a 0-day vulnerability using which a hacker could remotely exploit that service. I'm sure all of you understand how web services work. You could exploit the web service from outside and remotely take a control of the server, basically taking a root access, and once you have a root access to the server which has the database stored, you get an access to all the customer credentials. And when you get the customer credentials, basically you had in the United States, the population of the United States is 300 million people. Out of 300 million people, you had 143 million social security number, their bank account information. When I say bank account, not just bank account number, but their balances, because based on that you were calculating the credit score. Their entire list of everything that you would require from a personal identifiable information. When you code specially, you should know what's PII. That's because that's required for that requires a special aspect of security, which means your phone number, your email address, your physical address, all of this information of 143 million Americans, that's practically half America's population, has been now leaked in the public for anybody and everybody to view. It's like leaking the entire Aadhaar database. In fact, Aadhaar is still not that vulnerable because it's not Aadhaar card which is actually storing. It's not UIDAI that stores your bank account number or bank details or the transactions. But in this case, this was even more deadly. So this is just one example. Why I'm giving you this example is, we are living in a world where, one of the most, in fact, the most developed country in the world, with a $15 trillion GDP, with one of the most important companies out there, gets so badly hacked. And you see the consequences. Just day before yesterday, the ex-CEO of, why do I say ex? Obviously because he's fired. The ex-CEO was testifying in front of the Senate, in front of the Congress, in the US, because he had to go ahead and justify on why could he not protect his assets. And it's just last 2 weeks that I'm talking about. Another hack was Deloitte. I don't know if you followed that. How many of you know about Deloitte? Can I see hands? Everybody, right? It's one of the big 4 financial, auditing firms in the world, 250,000 employees. Guess what? Their emails were compromised with each and every Deloitte employee's email. And I'm saying 250,000 employees, that's 2.5 lakh people. To put that into perspective, in total TCS has 3 lakh people. So it's almost in that same range, and this is a global audience global employee base that you're talking about. They were hacked. And guess what? Their emails were not accessed once, but hackers had an access for 6 long months to every single email that they were sending. 6 months, from January to July. And they say it was 5 million emails that potentially were accessed by hackers. Now why I'm giving you all these examples is only one reason. You're here to develop things. You're here to make things. Remember, there's an entire clan of people out there waiting for you to make things, to make an impact so that they can break those things. And the beauty is, if you understand that today, here, right now, and you start making things in a more secure manner, it's far more powerful, and it's far more, it's far more rewarding as you move forward. And that really builds a completely different dimension of value add in you as a developer. You're not just a developer, you're a secure code developer. And that is the key differentiator that can be there as you as an individual or the application that you build or any product that you build. So out here the beauty is, and again, what is a hacker? In fact, the beauty of this word hackathon, you need to understand. Of course, you guys don't do any hacking out here, but you need to understand the word hack simply means making something do that it was not originally designed to do. That's the meaning of the word hack. If you use your toothbrush to clean a table, that's also a hack. So you're using code, or you're using conventional programming methodology in a way to do things which generally people have not thought of. That's the reason it's called a hackathon. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is, hacking is exactly the same. In true sense, why hacking is considered in general sense, is when you develop a code, how do you make the code respond in a way where you feel or you get to see certain things from the code which a normal developer who developed the code did not think that he could see. I don't have my laptop, but I would have loved to give you a lot of demonstrations where, things where you can actually input and you can extract as an output from the application. There are so many kinds of attacks which are possible. I understand most of you are web or mobile application developers. So in your case, you must definitely go back and study something called the OWASP Top 10. That's where you start. That's a phenomenal place where OWASP Top 1 is something called the SQL injection attack. Because all of you know SQL queries. To make any dynamic page, you need an application connected to the database. When you have an application where parameters are being passed, those parameters, whether you're passing it through GET or POST, can be injected with very specially crafted SQL queries. Something very, very simple. One of the most basic forms of an SQL injection attack. Think of it. If I go and write in the username admin or a normal user, and in the password, instead of whatever I write, and in the password field itself, if I write whatever, ABC, and in the password field I write single quote or single quote 5 single quote equal to single quote 5. So that is a variable. Now, uske aage and piche, the single quotes will be given by the SQL query that you would write in the application. Now, this is called an SQL, and this is a very basic form of SQL injection attack. So many of them can be there, but if you think of it, the way the query will be structured is select star from tables where user name is equal to whatever username you're providing, and password is equal to ABC, which is not true, but I have myself given the statement or 5 equals 5, or you can write anything equals anything. But that will always be true. So false or true will always give the output as true. This is the reason why you're not allowed to use special characters while defining your passwords, because you need to disable. So this is what your understanding needs to be. What I gave you an example was a very basic form of SQL injection attack. Hacking in general is something that a lot of people thoroughly enjoy, only for a reason that it's intellectually extremely stimulating. It's not something where you just, it's not zero, it's not like you got a problem and then you just need to code and solve that. When I say just code, of course that itself is very complex, but then out here you not only need to understand the code, you need to understand how do you walk around the code. And that is very, very intellectually challenging, and that's something that a lot of people enjoy doing. So that's one part which I wanted to tell you, that look, when you're here developing things, there are two things that I can make you focus on. One is, even while developing, please learn about issues around cybersecurity for the applications. For starters, OWASP Top 10, OWASP Top 10. These are top 10 vulnerabilities which are there. One of my favorite tutorials for SQL injection attack, I did it probably a decade back, was called the Dhakkan tutorial. It's literally called Dhakkan tutorial. It's one of the most phenomenal SQL injection tutorials you can really come across. You can Google that, I'm pretty sure you will get it. But coming back, please look at it from a secure code development point of view, and there is a parallel field that awaits you as cybersecurity professionals. That is something that you can absolutely explore. And if you're a developer coming into cybersecurity, believe me, nothing like it. Because you know exactly how development works. And then when you do security, because remember, security is all about recommending how do you protect yourself. How do we do that? Just to give you a background, the company that I run, since we're talking aviation out here, we actually do the end-to-end security of Indigo, of SpiceJet, of Delhi Airport, of Hyderabad Airport, of Emirates Airlines, of Cathay Pacific. I mean, there's a long list of companies that we work with very, very closely. Of course, the larger ones which I mentioned, Emirates and Cathay, we don't do their end-to-end. Of course, we do it for, Delhi Airport and Indigo and SpiceJet. But we do a part of their security. And when I say a part of their security, I'm talking about their mobile application, their web application, all of those things. When you book your flight on goindigo.in and all of that, it's tested by my team, which basically means we test goindigo.in. And then we see whether that can be hacked through these ways. I just gave you one way. We've got more than 160 ways. And these are individual ways in which somebody external can hack inside. So that's the kind of work that I do as a company. Of course, I mean, I just gave you aviation examples. There's a very, very long list of customers that we've got in financial institutions, starting from the BHIM application that you might be using till ICICI, HDFC, and there's a very long list of customers and the apps that we would secure. In fact, the Days app that was just launched by Google, even its security assessment was done by us. So coming back, why I'm giving you this example is this is a parallel field which is evolving. Please give it a thought that if you want to be a cybersecurity professional, it can be something phenomenal for you. The last part which I just want to focus on is you might think that this is just a hackathon and this is just something where you can come down, try your hands on and probably try and see if things work. Believe me when I say this, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, literally the Ubers, the Airbnbs of the world, they all started in some or the other way with a hackathon. What that simply means is, thanks to technology, in true sense, if you understand the power that you hold as developers today in your hands, thanks to technology, today, human race has been given more in the last 20 years. When I say more, in terms of comfort, in terms of connectivity, in terms of convenience of every kind, than what it has got in the last 2,000 years. And it's only thanks to technology. And when I say technology, it's thanks to people like you and me that know how to deal with technology and make things in a better way. So, I mean, this might be a small thing, but the point is, today, the barrier to entry for you into an app store is just $25. And what that simply means is, you have an option here, or a chance here, where you don't need a Tata or a Birla in your surname, and you can still dream and even build a multi-billion-dollar startup, or an app, which can be acquired even after you being rejected from a Facebook or a Google, and then selling your app for $22 billion. I'm talking about WhatsApp, of course. And this is something which started from a normal hackathon. What hackathon, again, it means it doesn't need to be everybody coming together and then somebody sponsoring it. It can simply be you sitting at your home, thinking of a genuine problem and trying to solve it through an app. And it can be, you can put that on the Play Store for $25. So I'm just giving you that idea that look, this can be tremendously powerful in shaping up your career. You don't necessarily just need to become a developer. You can become an entrepreneur. You can do so many things. And I feel that it's such an exciting time to be at, right? So there's a lot of things that I can talk about. I don't want to do that. I don't know if we got more time. I can take a question or two. Do I take? Because I know I was saying 15 minutes and I've taken exactly 15 minutes. So, 2-3 minutes? Okay. So if you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah. No questions at all? Generally just the first question, which is a challenge. Good. I think then we are sorted. No questions. I think you've got a bright audience. So this is good. Thank you for having me, and if you want to connect with me, you can always connect with me on Facebook. That's not a problem. Thank you so much, and all the best for the hackathon.
Thank you so much, sir. Guys, we've now been joined by Ms. Dolly Vaseem. Ma'am has been a knowledge entrepreneur with 22 years of experience in the ICT industry. Currently, she's working on experiential learning, and she's supported 50,000 entrepreneurs. So I think her work would definitely be something for all of you. Ma'am, could you please join us?
Good morning, everybody. So I came here to really just be an observer, and they asked me to speak. So it's it's one of my favorite subjects. So Hackathon is one of the experiential learning methods that I've been practicing over the last 12 years and trying to see how I could induct more learning, which is experiential in nature, by student entrepreneurs. And I'm very proud that over the last year, I think I've impacted about 1,000 entrepreneurs using hackathons alone. Just to give you a little brief about what I do, I'm a knowledge entrepreneur and I've been looking at problems and trying to solve them through an innovative approach, basically hacking through the problems. And started my journey by hacking a problem to really set up the first digital lab in the country 32 years back. And about 15 years back, I hacked through my way to bring in a disruption in the travel industry, in the hospitality industry. And so much so that I actually transformed about 16 hotels, created two new destinations, being a startup solo entrepreneur. So the result was that the entire world was looking at it, and I actually received a MasterCard scholarship to do my specialization in tourism as for business administration in tourism. I rose to being the managing director of TradeWings and turned around TradeWings from a sick company to a 600 crore group, which it is. It was actually going sick, and helped about 5 of their companies really being revived. During this process, I also received a further incentive to really continue my work in the travel and tourism industry by actually being offered to do a master's in tourism. And today, electronics and communication engineering is also a master's in travel and tourism. So that's the kind of passion that I have for travel and tourism. And I can say that there are at least 5,000 to 6,000 crore worth of applications running in the country in which I have had something or the other to contribute, which includes in the travel industry, the FOIs, the railways network, the first SCADA in the railways, and I mean, and the list goes on and on, but I would not like to really go on this. But I'm here today to really support any entrepreneur who wants to really understand how innovation process is done and how they can validate that idea. One of the biggest challenges in most hackathons that I've seen, especially when students and young entrepreneurs want to have a solution, they either take a too broad scope or actually narrow it down to a very, very small scope. So what you should really think about when doing a hackathon is to find a problem that is sufficiently, you can actually handle it in 24 hours. And not only that, it needs to really completely solve that problem. That problem might be very small, but you should be able to demonstrate that that's the problem that is really bugging the industry or the challenge that you have taken up, and how it is solving it and how it is different from others. So good luck to all of you, and if you have any query during the day, I'm here to mentor at least a major part of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Different people find motivation to do different things depending upon where they are, what is their environment, what kind of self-experiences they have, what do they really want to do with that experience. On my return to India, one thing which astonishes me, that we have amazing use cases of technology, and technology being used to solve various kinds of problems. But look at the most vulnerable part of society, females, and look at their safety. What are they doing about? Which surprises me. Cases like Nirbhaya happens, and then several cases after that happens. I thought about it, it pained me then another case happened, then another case happened, and somehow every time I had this sense of frustration, anger, and feeling of being cowed. Vistara happened to me, and it has this amazing, workforce, which was extremely young, extremely mobile. So I started up working on a framework. I started creating a platform. One day I shared this with a few of my colleagues, and they shared their own problems in terms of how to make sure that our young female cabin crews can get an early learn and stop their day late in the night. How they really worry about that, and I saw compassion and I saw empathy. And I thought, next digital architecture has to be based upon these two core values. Now, what we have done over here in Vistara, we have created a platform which helps us to protect talent. We use very, very easily available technology like mobile phones, which are extension of human script. We use technologies like maps, which are easily available today, which are very, very rich in nature in terms of availability of APIs, availability of developers. We use technologies like geofencing. We use technologies like IoT, where we can control the person who is driving that particular car or a vehicle, or even control the engine. Okay, but if you combine all these, then a beautiful framework happens in terms of making sure the right driver with right car reaches right cabin crew to go to a right airport or to be in that right flight to serve right customers. It is not necessary that you build things based on some kind of a business case or some kind of scenario where you think about profitability. This is also one of the attributes which I'm looking from young developers. Think from your heart, okay, and build compassion and empathy into your architectures and code, and magic will happen.
That was Ravi sir. Okay, so this is pretty much a wrap for the show today. We're wrapping up. We'll be starting with the Amazon workshop in 5 to 10 minutes. All of you may take a break before that. And yeah, all the best for today. May you overcome all the challenges you've been thrown at and perform well. Let the hack begin, guys. Finally.
पब्लिक में बोल रहा है
या तो एक बंदा गलत काम से आगे पहुंच जाए, सबको ही गलत काम करना पड़ेगा, या कोई ना करे, ये अच्छी बात है।
Hello guys, we will start hackathon sharp at 11:30. Then we will start hackathon sharp at 11:30. After 15 minutes.
Wi-Fi password will be available right away on the screen, and you're only allowed to use the first floor and the ground floor and the outside area. And no one is allowed to go out of the campus, so please keep that in mind.
So guys, no one will use the warehouses and the incubate room. You can use the ground floor and first floor. Anywhere you can sit, you can any location you can use for your like coding and all. So you are restricted to only ground floor and first floor. Okay, please don't go to second and third floor. They are the offices area, and your password will be shown in your that screen and also on this board. Okay guys, and we will start hackathon sharp at 11:30. So you can take, by the time you can take coffee and you can roam outside. You can also leave this area empty also. Thank you guys.
చేస్తున్నట్టున్నా సరే వీడియో वैसा बोलना चाहिए था भाई क्या होगा अभी कोई हम जैसे साड़ी कैसे हैकाथॉन शुरू हो